would that suffice over the boosted 35%, or do we need both?
I think we need both.
Guess, how do you feel about it?
This is a tough topic for me.
Hello and welcome back to the Marvel Snapcast podcast. I'm your host, Ken, here with our other guest co-host today. And of course, that is the one and only Loopy Fish. Loopy, welcome on in, buddy. How you doing?
I'm doing fantastic, man. We're almost through the week.
Yes. Sino did not take a 10, ladies and gentlemen. This is my good pal and friend, Loopy Fish. All right. And we also have the normal co-host of the wonderful Marvel Snapcast. That is the one and only Mr. Roadmap Guy.
Hey, the left hand of the group. It's Guess Gaming. If we're going down that path. But it's been a good week, to say the minimum. I'm happy the week has gone the way it has.
Yeah, you definitely had a lot on your plate. Let's dive right into it, actually. Kicking off first things, we'll talk about this wonderful roadmap. We do remember the roadmap of last from a certain network that we're not going to name currently. And Guess, you took it upon yourself to redo that roadmap, and it was done the way that they wanted it to be done. So for this roadmap, it comes to no surprise that Ben himself gives you a call and asks you if you'd be willing to do this roadmap. And I think you did a phenomenal job explaining a lot of things. So shout out to you doing that. But enough with giving you all the wonderful accolades, because I think you're tired of hearing that from us recently. We're going to dive into the actual roadmap and talk about the cool things that we saw coming out. Starting with, of course, today's newest thing, right? High voltage. Guess I'm going to let you run with this on the road and break down some of the cool things that you were excited to talk about and what's in store for us.
Yeah, high voltage. So for doing the roadmap video, I had a very limited access for a very limited amount of time. And the time in which I got to play the game mode, I was immediately telling the team, like, this is going to be a hit with the community, without a question of a doubt for me, because it's one of Snap's appeals is that it's fast, right? It's supposed to be, you're sitting on the toilet, play a game kind of a thing. And the way I've talked about it behind the scenes, and I'll put it out there, I think, for the first time here, this is not a sitting on the toilet game. This is a standing at the urinal game. Like, you could, both men
play
are
with
nodding.
one hand.
Yeah, you play with one hand, you get that shit done, and then boom, 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 you're in and you're out. You're not even wiping. Like, it's just, you shake and go to the next vault. Like, it's so fast as a game mode. And that's going to have a lot of appeal. And what I also loved with this was that even during the testing, it was very quickly apparent. This reopens so many cards that have absolutely no use or incredibly limited use in both Conquest and Ladder and Deadpool Diner. Like, I was willingly and winning playing an Agatha Kang deck because it was actually really, really good. And I can't say that any other place ever, except for this game mode. I had a 60% win rate going with Agatha and Kang, because Agatha was an extra card in your hand automatically. And Kang, it's a higher chance of drawing Kang. So you get the redraw again. So you're going through between the two of them 10 out of your 12 cards when everybody else is going at 8 out of 12 of their cards. So that advantage was like, this is good. This is
so
really
what you're saying
good.
is that everybody should have Kang. So 10% of Snap.
Yes. Here's the thing. Yes, but not for that reason. I think everybody should have Kang to get Kang out of the game mode, because the Kang is completely against what the game mode is about, which is, it's a 3-turn game. This makes it a 4-turn game. To me, it's the same reasoning as why Galactus isn't in it, or Magic isn't in it. It's the same exact reasons. So Kang shouldn't be in it. But while it is,
enjoy.
It's good.
What an oversight. They forgot about Kang.
I thought they forgot about a lot of cards. And I know you guys can attest, because we saw a lot of conversations also happening in the background about what to do with certain cards and why certain were chosen as not, worthy, like Black Widow. That would have been absolutely freaking OP. And I even called that I was like, oh, this is scary. And then it was a banned card. I'm like, thank God, because blocking a double card draw when you only get 4 draws, like that's half your cards.
Horrible.
We all would have been running it, and we all would have hated it.
Yep.
So I loaded up the game today, and I put Hulkling in a deck with Erisham, Infinite, Zola to do Zola Infinite stuff, which I did pull off, which was awesome.
Yeah.
To Zola Infinite in 3 turns. But I want to see if Hulkling will turn into Galactus.
Yes.
He would turn into Galactus. So you could, so as long as that still works. So they don't ban you getting the cards from Agent 13.
Sorry. I see what you're saying. Gotcha.
Because Hulkling turns into any 6 cost. Will he turn into Galactus?
See, that I actually don't know, because
not a lot of time to test.
Right.
Not that much time to go through every permutation. That and Valentina.
Will Hulkling be Galactus?
Everybody put Hulkling in your card list
right now and find out. But that's another OP card, by the way. Valentina. Oh man, she loves this game mode. She loves this game mode. Like,
that's what I think is going to be real interesting, is just seeing the cards that people rarely play, like coming back into the mix.
100%. Zola.
Yeah.
Infinite, War Machine. Like,
Adam frigging Warlock is useful here.
Yeah.
Who would have thought?
Since when?
Like,
oh my gosh.
It's insane how I can
Taskmaster?
Taskmaster. My 2 favorites, hands down out of everything, are the 1-drops. And there's only 2 1-drops you should, in my opinion, really ever play. It's Hydra Bob and Ebony Maw.
Yep.
Yeah, now you can.
They're
no problems.
Both fantastic. Like,
powerful cards.
The game
all the
mode.
Fun police out there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. All the game modes out there prior to this were you're stuck to your 6 to 7 turn piece. But not only did you appeal to the ADD audience, you very much so said, here, I know what it's like to have Tinkerer's Workshop, Project Pegasus on the first location, and you got 6 energy turn 1. That's like one of the best feelings in Snap. And now you have it all game.
Yeah. What's surprising to me is that I'm always thinking about new ways to make Snap better, or like different game modes. And I always thought about driving the car forwards and like, man, what if we had more turns? But my brain never thought, what if we like go in reverse and we just have like less turns and like just crank up how fast we go? It's like it seems to me like it's like a drift race or drag race, not a drift race.
Yeah.
Drag race.
Drift race is just that's called NASCAR, a drift race, when they're just going in circles, man.
Circles. It's just a race, man. Yeah, but it just seems pretty high octane and fun, and I think it's kind of what I picture Snap to. It's kind of like what Snap was when we first started playing for the first couple of weeks when we were playing against bots and we don't know what we're doing, and we're just like throwing down cards and it's like going by really fast. But once you actually get into like the 60s or the 70s and you start playing against actual people and you have to start doing math and you're not just, hitting in turn and then hitting undo turn every single time. So I think this is going to be a really fun mode to play. I haven't actually had a chance to touch it yet. I'd be doing it right now, but I'm here because Casino has kids.
Yes, that's correct. Casino has children.
We call them commitments. Okay.
I don't mind them because this is really fun though. So
yes. Fun police out there. Don't do that. Don't bring Cosmo, Killmonger. Don't bring Shang-Chi. Don't bring these cards to this event. Have a good time.
Yes.
Try to outpower each other. That's the goal here. And I think like for the little time that I got to play it, I had a blast. So I cannot wait to dive more into high voltage later on. But let's dive into the other things that are happening here, like the Collector's Vault. I know a lot of people are excited about this. Now you finally get to get those variants that you didn't have a chance to get from the wonderful bundles that came out either before you even played the game or knew the game existed, or you didn't have the gold or credits to pick up when it was released. Now you get a chance randomly to be able to pick up those cards in a wonderful Collector's Vault.
You know what?
Loopy, how do you feel? Yeah. How do you feel?
I'm the only thing that I'm actually thinking about, 2 things, I guess. One, this mode has nothing. It has no appeal to you because you have every variant. There is one that you don't have, and that is
not going to be in here.
Yeah, okay, that was my question. I was wondering if that one would be available.
First, it's It should
I
be.
asked.
And that's
I specifically asked. I'm like, are the old Conquest variants? Are the old Conquerors variants? Are there like these random, like the 1 year anniversary Devil Dino? Like, are these kinds of variants all going to be in there? And they were like, no, it is exclusively bundle variants as of now. As of now. So
things can always change.
Yeah, exactly. Things can change, but that's all right.
Yeah.
I feel a way about it. Not just for me, but for everyone.
I wish I could have just been like, no STG. You can't. Your collection's still gonna be 99.9% complete.
Besides the promo ones, I think even last month's what's it called? Spotlight variants. Like if people started playing the game today, you mean you have to wait until next September to get a chance to get September's variants? I think this vault should cycle through all of that too. I think people didn't get a chance to play the game or weren't aware of it, and now they're actually enjoying it. They have to, if they love the art, they have to wait a whole year to get the Spotlight variants again. I think the fact that they already have the Spotlight variants at 2,400 gold, and this might have it at a higher price, why not just throw those variants in here as well? I mean, that's let me hear. I
want to agree with you so much, but also because you have to spend money on them, and I think that because I don't buy a lot of the bundles, I'm cheap. That guy right there, he takes all my money, he eats it. But my thing is that when I do get a variant, I like the exclusivity of having that variant. It's like it's putting you somewhere where everybody doesn't have a Lamborghini. You know, so if I drive a Lamborghini, then they see me with my Lamborghini. And I think that a year's worth of time of somebody having the variant and everybody be like, yo, where'd you get that? You know, and I think that's a good amount of time for me to feel happy about it. And then it comes out, it's like, I've had it for a year. You know, that's cool.
No, you got it. Okay.
Yeah.
The other thing with it too, that like Loopy, you're a great example for this. Like you don't buy bundle variants very often, right? Maybe the rare occasion, like, oh, it was a good month this month, or I really want this one in particular. That exclusivity that people want to pay for, I completely respect. And that was the biggest argument about this even coming out once it was, in concept and announcement in the community was, wait, why spend money on variants anymore if you're only going to be able to get them in the collector vault? Well, the good thing is you get 6 a month. That's it. So if you think about like all of the variants you've passed on over the last year, just 1 year, how many bundles you did not buy? Once a month, a random 6. You'll see for 5 days, the same 6. They don't change. It doesn't refresh every 8 hours or day, or it's the same 6 variants just for 5 days, and then they're gone. So the chances of you finding that, Carnival Sunspot that came out last year, the chances of you finding that one and saying, yes, I'm going to get this one, I'm going to invest in this one, the second it comes back in the collector's vault. You know how hard it's going to be to see that thing pop up in the vault? It's going to be nil. Very, very minuscule. So
I heard Carnival. Carnival? Not Carnival.
Carnival?
No, Brazilian Carnival. It's not a Brazilian carnival.
Yeah,
a carnival is what you go to in Texas.
That's where you get the fried stick of butter.
Damn right. Yeah, you get fried bacon and fried Oreos and fried tech
everything.
God and fried everything. Yeah,
fried tech God.
Yeah.
No, I hate what you're saying, guys. Both of you guys, I agree. I understand that concept, but I still think if this, no, I think you guys are right. I just feel that we have so many ways
for Loopy
to
and I.
change.
Yes.
I just feel we have so many ways to change how our cards look, because I think the splits is what make them the real exclusive, because we all can have a Subaru, but my Subaru got better stickers on it. It has a spoiler, right? So I think, I don't care if we all have a Subaru, my Subaru's faster because it looks better. So I think we all still have that customization that can separate us from everybody else having the same variant. But I do understand that feeling of having that variant and somebody going and giving it the star eyes, it's in the chat. So I'm with you because it happens all the time.
Yeah, it's like buying a Mercedes. Do you want the C-Class or do you want like the full thing loaded up completely?
Yeah.
And either way, you could buy a 1980 version for 700 gold and then put the 1200 gold border and then all of the splits and split it 25 times. And you could turn a 1980 Mercedes into a good-looking Mercedes today. That's what a 700 gold variant or a random free variant can do too. You don't have to have the bundle ones.
Yeah, I think that's also like in favor of what you were saying, STG. And not to step over onto another section of the roadmap, but the character mastery with the 25 extra finishes and flares that they're going to also have.
Yeah,
that's also going to have a lot more individuality on the variants. Yeah. I've been pro. We need more cosmetics for these cards because it's a different type of card game. And when the only option I have is to split my card, 6 times to get a random crackle and hope to get a God split, but that God split is going to be gold on gold and everybody else has gold on gold. It's not very individual, So I want to.
Yeah.
This is why people get custom cars. We're comparing these cards to cars. Right. I don't want. That's why I don't like cars that everybody's driving, because I don't want to go outside and see my car everywhere. I have a Toyota Camry everywhere I go. I've actually opened the trunk of somebody else's and realized it wasn't my car. It's like when somebody steals your car. If somebody steals my car with cable, is that my car or is that just theirs? Yeah. I don't know.
We got to buy you a hearse. Just that way you stand out completely differently.
I drove a hearse. It's called a PT Cruiser.
6 to 1, half a dozen of the other.
That is fair. On to the next thing on the roadmap. We got the 2nd year anniversary celebration for Marvel Snap, which is going to give some awesome daily rewards. Cannot wait to see all that. Make sure you guys sign in to get all those cool things. We have random boosters, which I think should have been a little bit better. We do get some credits, which I'm happy about. We do have a wonderful title that's exclusive. Matter of fact, why isn't titles and avatars? I'm not going to go into that. We got some borders. We got the premium issue variant, more boosters, and of course, this wonderful gold, wonderful border. Now, we also have Deadpool Diner 2.0 coming back during the holidays, which is pretty cool. Definitely excited for that. I had a blast with Deadpool Diner. Shout out to Guest again, who put that wonderful tutorial together. I wonder if Deadpool Diner will have another card attached to it. Do we know this?
Depends on who you ask.
Okay. That's a good one.
Okay.
So here's what we'll use as public resource. According to Snap.fan, in the most recent data mine, King, how do you, I don't know how you pronounce it, King Eitri, E-I-T-R-I, I don't know how you say it. Somebody will correct us in the chat or comments and give us a phonetic spelling, but the King E, Big E, I'm just going to call him Big E from now on. Big E, King, whatever his name is, who draws, it's an activate card. I think it's a 1/2. Draw a card from your deck that didn't start in your deck or something along those lines. And it's supposed to be like a hammer, style synergy. So another Thor, Beta Ray Bills type synergy, but you could use it for other things like, your Arishem decks, your
God.
I hate to say, your Thanos decks, etc. It's that kind of stuff. It's
so that's going to be
supposedly that, according to the SnapFan data mine that came out the other day.
I'm going to use it to counter Darkhawk. Get these rocks out of my deck.
There you go. Activate, though. It would be better if it was on reveal. Trigger that as much as you need to. Okay, that's perfect. That's going to be awesome. Hope you guys see that. I hope it's a Series 4 card as Agony is. We have a lot of cool things still in development, which, of course, character mastery, as we just spoke about, which I'm super pumped about. Super Premium Season Pass, which is also cool. We also have album preview, which I think could have been on this patch, honestly, but I do like that as well. Wishlist is awesome, and another new limited time mode. Now, back to character mastery. As Loopy said, that's a perfect example of being able to pimp your card, right? Like pimp your ride, where now we get a bunch of exclusive things based on how many things we've done to said car, how many splits we've given it, etc. I'm super excited for that. I think that's a whole day stream just for me alone because of all the cards, variants, and splits that we have, and they all are retro. Am I right in seeing that in the video? Is it retro?
Correct.
Yep. Unless somebody lied to us.
So yeah, unless somebody lied to me. That's the worst part.
Right.
I can't say what I know because it wasn't solidified, but if anything, or if most of what comes to be was what was relayed to me, it is going to be a lot easier to go up your character mastery tracks than you may realize. It's not just your variants and your splits.
Oh wow. Oh,
so
if I thought that was the easy part.
if everything comes to be the way that it's potentially going to be, it's going to be very cool to see how people move up the character mastery track, no matter who you are.
So, I'm excited either way.
Who do I have to pay?
I'll send you my PayPal.
Super Premium Season Pass. Reading this wonderful article here, it says that it will make the biggest deck builders, Pauls and all the pauses in the world, smile. So deck builders, the biggest ones, smile. I like that last statement. Makes it sound like we're going to have more deck building to do.
Yeah, I plead.
And if that's the case, if that's the case, more deck slots, man. You know what's crazy? I don't remember how much we had in the beta, but we wanted more in the beta. Remember the beta? We wanted a whole lot more. And we got a shit ton. And you know what? We still want more. I don't think this will ever suffice for us.
You know, I think having this is a game where you have 12 cards and there's over almost close to 300 cards now, I think, if I'm correct.
Yes. Yeah.
So I'm only limited to 20 decks?
Yeah.
That's man, if you're trying to to promote more different deck styles and more different ways to play, which I don't know if they are necessarily doing that, but I think so, because we just got a new, I've got to activate now. Then I would assume that we need to have more places to put our guns, because we don't really have a lot of holsters right now. So 20 might seem like a lot to some, but it ain't to me.
Agreed.
Oh, that's totally fair. Totally fair. Then we go into, again, I'm super pumped about High Voltage. I can't wait to play it, but we have another limited time mode. I mean, when are we going to get some of these modes to stay forever? Like, I think High Voltage could be a stay forever mode.
It might be a test.
It's unranked. You don't have to worry about snaps. Don't worry about your cubes. Just go out there and test as many cards if you want and build a different card list for a different style of game. To me, High Voltage is the Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links and the Pokemon TCG Pocket for Snap. Like, Snap is already a short game, and now they just watered it down, just like how Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links watered down Master Duel. I mean, that's...
Go ahead, guess.
Guess.
So here's my counterpoint to that. I don't think this should be a permanent game mode, because the appeal of Snap is that it is the time duration that it is. It's, roughly 5-minute games, give or take, right? Sometimes shorter, sometimes really long, depending if you're facing Lammy or not. And it is meant to be that as your time commitment. If you put in a game mode that's even shorter than that, it actually probably ends up hurting the game long term. Because number one, it's so fast that doing it that repeatedly will fry players faster. If you introduce it as a regular, staple mode that you could go into at any time, like Conquest, right? What happened to Conquest when it came on out? It was the same idea, but opposite. It was, man, I can't wait to play Conquest. And then eventually we all were like, God, this shit takes so fucking long. And then a lot of people kind of backed away from Conquest. It's a different kind of burnout, but it's burnout nevertheless. We were like, hey, we're used to this. We got our 5, 6, 7 turn, whatever game, 5-minute game. I want that. I'm going to go back to that. So now High Voltage would present the exact same opposite problem. It would be saying, okay, now you can be done in 2.5 minutes, if not less, for that game, and then do it again, and then do it again. And a lot of people can't handle that fast processing for a long period of time. Also, 5 minutes is a nice sweet spot to keep everyone going long term. Plus, when you have it be limited time and then rotated on, like Deadpool's Diner is coming back, right? We'll play it for a week or two, and then it's gone, and we don't want that to be there all the time. So when it comes back, there's an allure to it. There's that need, that want, especially if there's a reward like a new card associated to it. There'd be no purpose in that being a staple game mode if there wasn't honestly a new card being tagged to it. So you want it to come back limited because you're going to get a premium resource for participating in that limited time game mode versus, all right, let's go just like Tech, exactly like you do. well, I need the conquest variant, so I'm only going to play as much conquest as I need to get the variant, get my rewards, and then I'm going to go back to ladder. The exact same thing would happen with high voltage.
You know what's funny is that, huh?
What did you say now? I saw you.
Oh, I was gonna say, I stopped playing Conquest because it was taking too much time, and I was comparing it to ladder. But I think the issue is the way they went with Conquest, is because we've always been told that Snap is a game that's supposed to be short, and then they made it longer. And I was like, I appealed with it for a little bit, and I haven't even gotten the variants. It's such a drag sometimes to have to get in there and play it, because it just takes so long, and you're making a bigger commitment to play it. I honestly, when you were sitting there talking, I was like, what if? Because I know that this is a limited time mode with high voltage, but it seems so fun to play and get in so quickly. And I look back to games that I used to play that I could get in. Like I remember to this day how fast it would take me to get into like 3 matches of Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 back in the day. Right, I could put the disc in, and in 20 seconds I'm playing a match. Like I'm sniping people with an intervention. Like I'm in there, and I feel like being able to get in and play and get into another match is fun, because I don't keep when I'm playing ladder, I don't keep the negative thoughts of, man, I just lost to this holodeck as much as I do if I'm losing to it in Conquest over and over and over again.
Right.
And honestly, if they combined high voltage and Conquest, it would probably make Conquest way more popular.
I'm about to say, I think you're right. If they shortened Conquest to high voltage, we still got to win 5 matches to get a border, but 5 high voltage matches, I think we will play Conquest a whole lot more.
Yeah, and I think it'd be better if they didn't even do maybe there's no snap in high voltage. Now that's
right.
That's one thing. So is it really Marvel Snap? Because you're not snapping, but you have to. If they did put it in Conquest, it'd probably have to be like a best out of 5, probably. But anyways,
back to the same boat. So no, I get it. It's tough. It's a very tough thing. I think this is why they do what they do, because I hear guest side of it too. Like we probably get tired of high voltage to a point where like, all right, this is too much. My brain is fried. But nevertheless,
the vine of.
Yeah, it's the vine of Snap. It's exactly what it is. That is the best way to equate it, man. It really is. For those who even get that reference that are listening to this podcast.
The short form of Snap.
Right. Yes. It gotta be Loopy's or
God.
Just do it for the vine. Look for it. Google that. Do it for the vine. Then we have which of course is draft mode. They did mention this before on the last roadmap, and as mentioned now, they are still focusing on it, trying to, like Guest said, snapify it, which is pretty cool. A lot of people have been asking for draft mode, so I can't wait to see what Snap does. If they need to take a whole year to complete it, let them get it to where they need to be before they put it out. And then we have new cosmetics, which we saw, which was that dinosaur or dino grave with lava kind of cool thing. I hope we do see more.
Game boards?
I think, cosmetic game board. Sorry. I hope we do see more. I really want to see some other, like, I would like to see, I'm tired of the asteroid, but I would like to see, the X Mansion. I would like to see, some of the locations that we have. I want to see them as game boards, right? Like Asteroid M or,
You're already on an asteroid.
City. That's what I said.
You just complained about that. Yeah. You want Asteroid M too?
Yeah. Like New York, Brooklyn Bridge. Like I would like to see, some of these things.
Oh man.
But for real though, on that though, I want to ask you guys, because someone brought it up. I want to say it was in my chat the other day about the boards. It's insane that you look at, what a lot of us are testing and playing out right now is Pokemon Pocket, right? You can have your own unique game board. If you were playing Marvel Snap and you had your choice of being able to put on a custom game board like that one that was teased in the dev roadmap, would you want it to switch every turn, or you only see your board? Because in Pokemon Pocket, depending on the turn, it changes the board that you see on the battlefield. So in Marvel Snap, in one direction, it's like, okay, whoever has priority, is that the game board that plays? Or is it just you only see your game board?
I feel like, go ahead. Go ahead, Tech.
I was going to say, have you seen Master Duel and how they do it?
I have not, no.
Okay, so it goes half and half. So your board, your top half is your half, and my bottom half is my half.
I would hate that.
So you think so?
I paid for a whole board. No, I paid for a whole board. Show me my whole board.
Okay.
Well, I think in that aspect, you also pay for your yard, but if your neighbor wants to have, what is it, bluegrass or whatever, I don't know,
right.
and you have something, I don't know, grass types, that might only be music, I don't know, but you know what I'm saying though. If they want to look like Namek and you want to look like Earth, then you can't say nothing about it unless it's a HOA. Right. That's a different story though. But I think that I play Tekken, and Tekken has this thing called the magic mirror. And if you put that magic mirror on your character, well, basically on Tekken, you can like beat up people after the match is over. It's kind of disrespectful, but you can do it. But if you put the magic mirror on, they'll do that, but you won't see it. I think that technology kind of is already out there, unless Nintendo comes and patents it. Yeah. But who knows what'll happen. I think that something like that'd be cool. If I have mine on it, if I have the option to choose if I want to see the other person's or if I only want to see mine. I think that would be a good option, you know.
That's fair. Good with that. Each person see what they see. You see your own board for the entire board. You don't have to see the other person's. I think that works too. But yeah, I do not want it to switch like Pokemon. That would drive me bananas. So yeah, that's basically the roadmap. I know there's probably some things that we probably still want to see. I mean, for me, with Jeff UB, spectator mode would be the only thing out of this roadmap I would have loved to see. But I know they never spoke about spectator mode, so wasn't expecting it. But that would have been a big shock for me if in concept spectator mode. I'm like, okay, I'm marrying Snap for the next 100 years now. But definitely wasn't discussed.
It ain't Loopy, happening, man. Like until they can monetize it, it ain't happening.
Yeah, there we go. Loopy, anything else that you want to see before we move on to the next topic?
No, I'm good. Let's go.
All right, so now we talk about the wonderful patch that came out Thursday of this recording, and that patch basically we could run right through it. There's nothing much to really discuss besides the fact that we now have the limited time of infinity split rates boosted up to 35%. And of course, high voltage will be coming out today, which it did. And then of course, on the 24th, which is my birthday, the collector's vault will be introduced. How dare they introduce the collector's vault on the 24th? And it will have nothing to do with me. Intriguing. Nonetheless, everything else was bug fixes. We also had wonderful sound effects and VFX from the Great Web, which looks phenomenal. How it comes into play and then drags the cart. That's so good. Yeah, and then cool MODOK MODOK's line is super cringe. And I didn't hear arrows yet, but MODOK really get a crap out of me. Nonetheless,
how dare they add that when Scorn comes out? So all I hear is that.
Just over and over. I was like, if it sounded like Patton Oswalt, I would have been cool with it. But like, it just sounds just like a generic. Like they went into. I know this is what Chris did, but it's like go into AI and just type it in there to generic white man. Send it's facts. I'm sorry, I hate to say it, but
it just doesn't. I just can't.
Yes, oh man, that is. But real quick, I want to touch on these wonderful boosted split rates. I know it's a lot on a lot of people's minds and discussions right now. When they put out that article, basically explaining what they were going to do, and then of course have some type of compensation with it. I don't think the world was ready to see that the compensation was just a Magneto and a rainbow border. For some, they're totally okay with it. For some, people really don't care. But for the majority, they are kind of upset. And I understand because I'm going to say myself, right? I split a ton of cards thinking I'm going to get that awesome split. I'm going to say the Doom from Hellfire Gala variant. I split that so many times, nothing. We're going to say the Venomize Bucky. I split a ton of times, got nothing. So I lost a lot of credit and time trying to upgrade those cards. So now to say that, hey, your compensation is Magneto and a rainbow border, and don't worry about it. Just, go ahead and try it now. You should get what you want. I mean, use more credits to try to get what you want. And you only have this limited time. It does kind of feel bad. So I understand where people are coming from 100%. I know Second Dinner's intentions are not to upset the masses. I assume they felt that if we give you the same time to get a higher booster percentage, then, that should cover your issue. And then we give you a brand new card and a 1,000 token rainbow border. How do you feel about that, Loopy? What's your take on this entire thing? Were you affected by it? Yeah.
So I will say this, because you said the majority. The majority is affected. I think that the majority, and this is probably gonna be, it could be an L take, but I think the majority actually isn't really that much affected by it. Because I think that when we look at how many people play Marvel Snap, most of our communities and most of the people that we talk to on the daily, us three, we're in that, like 5% that has split like 10 times in the past month. But like my coworker who I got hooked onto the game, he might not have split at all in the past, few months or whatnot. So but that doesn't discredit our voices of, wow, we feel wronged, right? Because I think that I've split a lot, and I'm like, man, I really wish I could have gotten a better compensation. I wish that there was a way they could look at it and say, hey, how often has this person split? And can we give a compensation based off of like people who split so much? Because if you're trying to fish if somebody tells you there's fish out here in this lake and I'm spending hours fishing, and then I find out that this lake is, I don't know, irradiated or something, and then there's no fish in here, that would suck, and it does suck. And to only get a Magneto variant and a border, it's not cool. They gave me another thing I have to split now. and sure, I might get something good, but I also have to work towards the items to get that. And I understand that's why they gave us until December, but they need to implement something to give us like split credits so I can split cards without having to go through all the work now. Because I play this game every day and I still only get to split maybe, because I don't spend a lot of money on the game. I only get to split so often, maybe 3 times a week, maybe a full split. But to the average person that's spending money for these, I hate to say it, the big term whales out there spending money on the game and splitting. I go into Dex stream every now and then, and he's running like 5 gammas before he even plays a game of Snap. And I would feel cheated, actually spending money on credits.
Yeah.
That's money at that point. It's not just somebody who's just playing a game and not buying credits like me. That's money.
Agreed. So they've found a way to give back credits, the credit that you spent to split in that time frame. Would that suffice over the boosted 35%, or do we need both? That's the question.
I think we need both.
Okay. Guess, how do you feel about it?
This is a tough topic for me. Being second dinner employee of the year here, as you've now dubbed me. No. But for real though, okay, so I went through a whole explanation on stream and an economics breakdown, thinking about it, and from a community management breakdown. So I'm gonna ping pong myself for a second here to kind of show both ends of the conversation. On the one end of the conversation, this compensation probably affects more than 3/4 of the community in a positive way. 25% of the community, it's not enough given what happened. So on the one end, it's like, yes, you're satisfying the majority of the client base. However, you're not satisfying 25% of the client base. When you look at it from a management standpoint, that's still a positive ratio. However, then you look at a little bit further, out of those 25% that are not happy, it's very true that bad news spreads faster. So is the feedback that's coming from the community inflated because it's a stronger percentage of that smaller percentage, or is there validity to it? And a lot of the times, validity gets buried by troll or just aggression or rudeness. So a lot of it gets diminished or discarded from those who are trying to assess it. On the other end of it, then you take it to the next step and say, okay, well, that 25% that are not happy, most of them are most likely not happy because they spent X, Y, and Z amount of resources to do so. They were going through it as if the game was normal and spending resources without knowledge of increases, decreases, whatever. So the compensation of raising it for the next 2 months, the rebuttal to that comes from the other end, from the game company side, is if none of this had happened over the last 2 months, and we didn't tell you any of it happened over the next 2 months, your spending habits as a consumer over the span of those 4 months most likely will not change. You did not spend extra in the prior 2 months just because of blank reason, because there was no blank reason. Versus the next 2 months, you're most likely to spend similar. Hold on, I'm just going back and forth. Let me ping pong. Going back and forth and saying that, well, most likely if you normally spend on average, let's say $100, $200 a game, a month on the game, you did that in August and September and into this month, what's to say that pattern would have stopped in November and December? If anything, it would have gone up most likely, because spending always goes up in the fourth quarter. So there's that justification end of it. Then there's the one counter argument to that point I've heard from one community member, which is the second.
Can I try to guess it?
Oh, yeah, sure. Go for it. What was it?
All I would say is that all I can think of is that, oh, wow, I went to go split this card and get a good split and I never got it. So I kept spending more money to try to get it. That's not it. Darn it. Well,
it was the very select couple of people that brought up an argument talking about, I heard from the last roadmap that character mastery may be a thing. So I started over the last 2 months trying to split certain cards more because I wanted to complete whatever character mastery would be. Or I started collecting variants to collect on a very specific character mastery, right? That argument I've heard, and I can agree with that argument. Me personally, as someone who splits in the game and is absorbing both sides of that argument, I don't know who I would honestly side with more, because from a management professional standpoint, they have done a really good job with a lot of things in regards to the compensation, the split changes, knowing that back end of saying spending habits will not have changed, but now you have implemented upon yourself as a community the feels bad notion. Well, I got shit on for the last 2 months, that means I'm entitled to something. When the data would have suggested otherwise, that if nobody found this out and Second Dinner found this out, they could have done it on the back end privately for the next 2 months, and we never would have known, and it all would have felt really good. And then broke even exactly the same way. So it's a tough place to be in if you're in a community management side, as well as a consumer side, because most consumers won't look at it through the lenses that I'm personally looking at through it. And hopefully my ping-ponging helps explain a little bit of the back and forth that the community is going to have with Second Dinner, and why Second Dinner / Newverse might feel certain ways about this is enough, this is not enough. Do you know how ridiculous it is to go into every single account and find out exactly how much you got in credits and then individually send individual compensations via that's inane. It is absolutely inane from a game developer's standpoint to do that. Yet alone, not to sound rude, but they didn't have to do a damn thing. And they still did as much as they already have too. So it's this weird push and pull of I lean more on the sense of like, I'm happy, I'm cool with this because I look at it through my lens. But I know many people don't have the lenses I do.
Yeah.
That's fair.
I agree. Yeah. Go ahead. You got something to say, Tech?
Yeah. The only, like I said, the only issue is that the spending habits changed a bit, because not for everyone. I think more so for the people who play the game every day and the people who stream. Because especially for me, if I'm splitting a card because I want to show off the best split of this card, and I spend $100 and get all these credits, I split this card 10 times and I'm still getting Prism, and I want that gold back, guess what? I got to put another 100 in there. Versus if this was 4 months ago, probably $50 worth of split would have gotten me to my variant that I wanted.
Yeah.
So now... my spending habit now changes, because now I'm like, all right, now I got to put in more to get the split that I want for that time frame. Now, if I wasn't aware of it, the question is, would it have changed coming into this month now? Well, maybe not. Or maybe it would be higher because now I'm like, shit, I need to get this. I'm going to put more money into it.
This is my question. And this because I don't dive too deep into all this stuff because
of course
I don't feel like the average person doesn't, right?
Yeah. Right.
Were the odds of getting a certain split, were they posted anywhere besides in the data?
They were talked about in the team answers by Steven. It was either Steven or Addison. It was posted publicly at some point, and it was like an answer from like last year.
So we can say they were public.
They were public, yes.
Right? And that's official.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then they changed.
For reasons that they did not know when they were implementing something on the back end 2 months ago. Correct.
So my question then is, and this is going to sound crazy to me, and I know this would like upset the economy, but if you think of Snap as like a gacha or a gamble or a casino, whenever you're putting your points into something, if you go into a casino, and I don't even think casinos even tell you what the probability of hitting something is. But I think most gacha games do tell you the percentage, like even on Pokemon Pocket, it tells you what the percentage is of pulling, a Charizard crown card is.
That's correct.
And if we go in there and we find out that that's not true, well, then that's I don't know what the exact lawful term would be, but it's bad business, if you ask me. You tell me.
A part of it is you're talking about basically falsifying records. You're basically saying publicly, here's data A, and then on the back end is data B. It's also not loot boxing, because loot boxing would be like, hey, you have your chance of winning these 6 items, but they don't tell you what the ratios of pulling those items are. Anytime you have any of that information public, it's no longer considered a loot box legally in any way, shape, or form. So that's why even if you go to the Newverse website and there's that free thing that you pull every single week, it's sometimes credits, it's sometimes boosters, it's a random variant, it's that draw.
But it tells you it's public
information,
how much often it is.
Yeah, it shows that the boosters have a 62% chance or whatever it is, and then a 0.004 something percent chance to get a premium mystery variant. Right? So, but legally they have to show you those results, and they have through those 2 different aspects. Now, the accessibility to that public information, that's an argument for, the legal team to decide if it's satisfactory or not, because it was only in the team answers one time by a dev, one time because someone asked a question. So that can be questioned, to be honest. But I think that the fact that it is public right now and it knows what it is, we had a hunch as a community that splits were off. Huge research was done from the community side, brought it to the awareness of the team, where the team found that the community was right. They found what the issue was, fixed said issue, apologized, compensated, and then is trying to make it right as best they can, while also not tanking the business. And that's such a tough balance.
It's totally tough
for them to, because let's be honest, no matter what, they're wrong.
Yeah.
No matter what they do, they could refund every single credit that you're wrong.
Yeah. Yeah. If I terrible way to put it, but if I was to kill your dog and say, okay, I'm going to compensate you back with a new dog.
Yeah.
You would still be upset because your Fido's gone, but your Milo is here. But no, you can't compensate that, because what they've taken is something it's uncompensatable. I don't even know if that's a word.
It is now.
You can't.
It is today.
You can't do it.
It's true.
Right.
So how can you get closer to making us feel better, I guess? And man, it's tough, because the only way I think they can do it is if they implement another system to what they already have. But only for certain people. It almost feels like that time people bought from the Newverse website, and some people bought from it was a big bundle. Some people bought from the actual app,
and it counted on the track.
Newverse. Well, no, the people who got on the Newverse, they got compensated with 6,000 gold, I think, because it was supposed to have, it was a typo or something. You remember what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
And the people who on the Newverse, they got compensated, but anybody who got on the other one, they just got what they already had. And it was like, well, it kind of sucks because I bought from the app. And I was like, well, damn. Now,
had a good point.
They did have
insurance. Yeah, right. You buy insurance, your house is on fire. Like, I'm sorry, you want your house to be on fire too, so you get the same payout as the other person.
Yeah,
right. That part I get. This was a little bit more trickier because, like you said, it all comes down to how they can actually make things better. And you're right, they can't do anything right now. It's gonna be wrong. So they really have to look at what's the best route to handle this. And I think what they did so far is great. I just think from the other side of it, it has to be more because of what people went through. And I think that's the hard part for them to have to handle. And not, like you said, not the bigger side, but the people who spent the more money. Because at that point, a lot of people were spending money at that same time.
I will say the issue you run into, that, and this is the last part on it, the issue you run into is creating a scalable compensation that is fair and evenly distributed amongst all variants. So somebody like Loopy, who does 3 splits a week, and then someone like you who did 3 splits during this fucking podcast already, like how do you scale appropriately how much you've invested over X amount of time versus how much he's invested? And he's happy with the compensation already as is. But if you get compensation because you spent more, he has to get compensation of some equal manner. But then he'll be upset that he didn't get 27,000 credits back in refund. He can't get mad.
No,
neither can the rich people.
I don't think I can get mad.
It's like no matter what, somebody can't get mad. No matter what, though, you're switching the blame over.
So do a blanket. Let's look at the person that spent the most and give everybody that amount. And guess what? Nobody will be mad.
Oh God, no one will be mad except for the company when no one is buying credits anymore. I think
solve a problem.
I think the only solution to this problem is either do what they've done already and then act quiet. Don't say nothing else. Don't even talk about it no more. Just ignore.
You cannot. You have to be communicative because
Mr. Beast's doing it.
We'll find out.
Easy though.
We're gonna have to be a problem. I just think them being communicative and doing what they're doing so far is why people aren't that upset. People are mad, but
they're working with
is going above and beyond and doing what they're doing now is why people aren't like getting the pitchforks ready. People are upset, but they're not. You know what I mean? So they should continue to do what they're doing. But
they do that, or they do a they go in, what is it, sequel, or they go into like a
what's wrong with you?
Database. Go into the database and they look and they take chunks and say these people spent so much money on credits, like specifically on credits. That's the only way I think I can do it.
You have 2 options. Like I told you.
Then you create a cutoff.
The same amount.
You do create a cutoff, but I can be upset. But because they already did one thing and they said, okay, that wasn't good enough. We know that some people particularly were affected by this. People who actually spent a ton of money. Right. I could sit there and say that, I can sit there and talk and say, hey, I want some of that too. And they could give me something if I bought credits, or maybe they do. How many people split so much? If you don't spend a lot of money on the game, then you're not going to be splitting a lot. But I think that they need to do something, because you can only get 10,000 credits at a time, as a total.
Right. But that's exactly where I'm saying you can't create cutoffs, because if you create a cutoff, then you're going to be upsetting a very specific group of people. Like if you say anybody who did 25 splits last month, if you're the person in the community who did 24 splits that month, you are going off about it.
The cutoff was 25. That's why I said
that's why I'm saying cutoffs are tough.
Okay, I didn't think about that kind of cutoff. Right. But I understand that too.
Idea, any cutoff, whether it's credits, dollars, split number, whatever.
Loopy. Yeah. Look at my solution. The person who did 25 splits that month gets the same compensation as the person who did 1 split a month. I think everybody's happy at that point.
Not the company.
Right. I mean, listen, the company could be happy too. They don't have to give the entire thing. I think maybe do an average. Go, okay, 25 splits equals 100,000 credits. Everybody will get 65,000 credits. Here you go. Everybody.
They should just give us free splits.
Merry Christmas. No. Merry Christmas. And that's it. Don't ask for nothing else. Your daily rewards deleted, right? Christmas stuff deleted. January, 2025, we'll start giving rewards again. I think everybody should be happy at that point.
Well, as long as they don't give it to me like that, you ain't getting nothing else. You get this, and that's it.
Here's your
don't say nothing.
No, they don't have to say anything. They're gonna say we didn't have anything planned for the holidays. What are you talking about?
See, that's the way That's the way they need to do it.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Just remember for the holidays.
Just remember, if you buy your own at-home printer and print your own money and spend it at stores, you deflate the economy.
Yeah, that's the economy.
That's fair. Yeah. The economy will go to shit. I get it.
That's why we already got a problem with gold.
It's hard. You know what? Give us all tokens. No, that still will matter. They got to figure that out. That's for them to handle, not for us.
We are not at the second dinner company table right now.
No.
Although people think
will be there in the morning. So guest says our voices matter. He will be there in the morning.
You're damn right they matter.
Yeah.
All right. So on to the next one. We have, of course, Scorn. Scorn came out last week. We're going to go right through this real quick.
Last week. It was 2 days ago.
Oh, my goodness.
You okay?
2 days ago, Scorn came out. Actually, yesterday, Scorn came out. And today's Wednesday. Yeah, yesterday. And I said this card was going to be either double platinum or the diamond card this season. And I really did enjoy this card. I think this card is super fun. It is tied to only discard, which it is what it is. So I'm definitely going to go ahead and give this a double platinum. Not giving the diamond. It's going to get double platinum for me. I'm going for Scorn with double platinum. Now, Loopy, because you're here for the first time, you might not know how the rating system goes. Of course, we go, what is the absolute trash?
No, it isn't.
Plastic. Sorry, plastic
it's
is
your
absolute
system.
trash.
You want me to handle your system? I can do this.
Nah,
really.
I got it.
You sure? All right, good.
Plastic is trash. Silver is next on the list. Gold is next on the list. Platinum, and then, of course, diamond. Now, if you double up, you can think about it like a scoring system of an extra half point, right? Yeah.
Okay.
So if something is double plastic, that is just horrendous. Of course, if something is double gold, it's like, 3.5, I would say, if you want to rank it that way. So you play Scorn for about 24 hours. What is your rating of Scorn?
I give Scorn 3.5 loops. I don't know I forgot what
double gold.
Yeah.
Double gold.
Double gold. Okay, good. Because I don't know. I was like, what is?
You can say 3.5 loops.
Which one you said in there? Okay.
Yeah, we got it. We
But you lost me at plastic, but
he lost himself at plastic. He didn't know what it was.
Yeah, I went to wood.
But I think that Scorn does fantastic in discard, and I think we kind of have to look at it in a discard manner or in a like outside of it manner in this case, because I would put it as an S tier card in discard, because it's really good. If you discard that card, what is it? Like 4 times. Every time you discard it, it's 4 energy. It's energy on that card, 2 energy on that card, and then 2 energy on a random card.
Power.
I'm sorry, power. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Power, energy. Yeah. But so that's a lot when you really look at it. And you can also do things in conjunction with that, because if you can hit thinking Silver Samurai. If Silver Samurai hits that card, it's also doing things to the opponent's hand too. Also Gambit. I saw a lot of Gambit yesterday when I was playing around with the card.
Yeah.
Gambit's taking power off the field. Also, you have a chance to add power to that card. It's so much synergy with discard. Now, outside of that, obviously this card's a kind of a dud. It's just a 1/2. It's just food for Killmonger, right? So I think that's really where it's gonna, it's very structured in discard. That's it.
Yeah, that's fair.
Proxima Midnight,
Yeah, X23 and Destroy. I'm with you.
Yeah.
Guess your rating.
I'm still at gold. In discard, it's good, but I don't think anybody's also really found the best variation yet of a Scorn list of discard, because like even when I was theory crafting different variations of discard, I put it in my own video trying to break down what is the purpose of this discard deck. Is it Gambit, where it's trying to throw a whole bunch of stuff out and get that effect to happen as many times as possible? Is it just yeet everything off? Like, is it a Swarm deck? Is it a Wolverine and Proxima Midnight? Is it just like whatever's in your hand, just get rid of it and the things will happen? Is it very structured? Are you trying to Lady Sif specifically to get the death and then revive it with Ghost Rider? And like, you have to know the point of the deck. And I don't think Scorn has really found the exact perfect purpose in the right balance of wherever it's supposed to be best. I think Gambit's most popular just because whenever you make Gambit do the thing, I mean, you make Gambit do the thing, it's a fuckload of fun, let's be honest. But just discard still in general, kind of for the same reasons I think many of us look at Meek as being kind of a dud. It just doesn't give enough to compete with some of the most meta, even the not so most meta decks out there over the last 6 months. Discard has always been like it's okay. It's a good, easy pilot option, but not a very high ceiling. And it just feels like in discard, it's great. I tried it in semi non-discard hybrid decks. Tried like a Nomura twist on it to get like Sebastian Shaw boosted up and doing. Yeah, no, that's it's too random. Yeah. If the targeting maybe of the power that it went to happened, then I think it could be a lot better, because then you could really say, okay, the card with the lowest power on the battlefield gets the +2. Now you can start doing predictive math and just be like, this I want here. Okay, so it's going to happen here. And then the second one would happen over here. So that's going to go to, you could start to figure out the order of where the power is going to go. The unpredictability, I think, is its detriment, which is what keeps it at gold for me.
I think it would also be really, if there was a change that could take place, Proxima Midnight Stonks would also go up. Just because, it also has that same kind of similar, thing. It goes to the lowest power. Lowest power location. So
yeah,
I think that'd be cool. But yeah, I totally agree with you. I like Meek because I like to use my hyper discard deck, which has to discard and fill your hand with tons of swarms, and you want to have Apocalypse in there. And I love cards that when you discard it, they stay in your hand, which is only Swarm and Apocalypse before Scorn. So it does fit in there, but also I have to end up taking something out. And is it worth taking something out when I do that? So I'm replacing Meek with this card now because they're both 1-drops. So I think that perhaps if I was to play a deck like that in high voltage, it'd be a lot better. But I can't do that necessarily in like standard ladder, because you need extra turns, you need lots of setup, and it feels a little clunky trying to set up multiple hits with Scorn. I think that's the big issue with it. But I do think that it does add a one cost 14 for me. If you can hit it enough times, seems good. But yeah, it does feel a little clunky at times, because I also feel like on turn 6 I'm thinking, man, I really want to discard this, and then, but I can't play it. So is the power that it's even getting working well for me? Well, now it's just Dracula food, probably. So I guess, unless I have Apocalypse, which is way better Dracula food, just for Apocalypse, though. So just for a Dracula, though.
Yeah. It's tough, because I was even thinking like Black Swan and then activate on 5, so you can discard it on 5 and then play it on 6, because it's a 0 cost with whatever the card you want. But again, it's a lot of setup for no reason.
Right.
Now, Agony is the card that is coming out next, because it can come out tonight if you want to, by playing high voltage enough times. So based on what I saw, it looks like you have to pay if you want to recharge. I didn't really look into that, but if that's the case, that means you can't get Agony unless you keep recharging, or could you get Agony by just continue playing?
Yeah, so looking at roughly the projection on like how often you get the different tiers of those missions. If you do all 3 missions, on average, to what it appears, you get 1 hard mission, which is about 500 volts, and then 2 random other missions, which are either 125 or 250 volts. And if that happens every 8 hours and you complete just 3 missions a day for the duration of the 7 days, plus play, you should be able to get everything. Because you've got the 20 volts on it. It's I forget who did the math on it, but it's like roughly works out to around 7,500 volts, and you need 8,000 to unlock the card. So that means you've only got to make up a difference of 500 volts, which between gameplay at 20 volts apiece, that's
Right.
winning 25 games of high voltage. I won 25 games in 4 hours in high voltage. Like over the course of 7 days, you should be able to get to that amount of wins. If you're just completing your missions, you should be able to do it over the course of 7 days. I don't see any reason why not, except for the fact if you wanted the Iron Man variant, then you're most likely going to end up needing to spending some gold to get the top tier variant, very similar to what a lot of people ended up needing to do towards the very end of Deadpool Diner because they wanted the variant too. They're like, screw it, I'll just buy the rest of the bubs, and then it goes on in.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Agony, she is a 1/2, and after you play this card here, merge this with it. Now, we spoke about this last week. The merging part, I'm still confused. If we merge, is it like the Phoenix Force kind of merge where now...
I don't think so.
Will they become a 1 cost when they merge with this? Or will she now become that card?
Backwards Hulkbuster.
Oh, go ahead. Yeah. I think was it Glenn, I think, on Twitter or Discord?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's kind of weird because Phoenix Force has a very unique way of merging because it reactivates kind of like Symbiote Spider-Man, but Symbiote Spider-Man kind of takes over and becomes the card.
4 cards, right?
Yeah.
It's not like So Phoenix stays whatever cost that card was. Now this one is Hulkbuster, so basically just getting the 2 power added to that other card. It's not becoming a 1 cost.
The easiest way the example I'd give is it's turn 2. You have this and you have Kitty Pryde. Same lane. You play this down. You play the Kitty Pryde. The Agony absorbs into the Kitty Pryde. Kitty Pryde is as is. It is now a 1/4 on the field. Bounces back to your hand. It's still Kitty Pryde as a 1/5.
Yeah.
Or Deadpool is now still a Deadpool, but he's a 1/4 or whatever.
Right.
So,
right.
Okay. All right. So yeah. My preview rating for this card is a cheaper Hulkbuster. It's going to be great and destroy, probably with bounce and Kitty Pryde. Oh no, it's like a chimichanga, a 1 cost chimichanga.
But you have to play it backwards. Chimichanga is just like Hulkbuster, really.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it is.
So yeah, I'm gonna stick to my plan.
It's a chonga chimmy.
Make this a silver, double silver or silver card for me.
I think I think I get the scale now. Wait, it's plastic then silver?
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna go with silver, double silver too, because I think it's a great rhythm card for Destroy, but I can't think of much more else because you can use it at move too probably, but the only problem with that is that you have to play the card, after you play this card, which can mess up some things with rhythm and move, because move is, I would say, more rhythm than Destroy, So
yeah,
it's just gonna be kind of clunky every now and then. But I'm pretty sure you can find a place to put it in there. I'm not gonna say that it has no synergy with anything, because it definitely does. But you're not gonna be able to do anything with Black Panther with it besides add 2 more power, which will be 4 more power with Black Panther. If you do something like that, it's nothing crazy. Or it's going to be 4 more once you re-trigger Black Panther. That's what I'm saying. It'll be 2 on top, but once you re-trigger him, then it's an extra 4 technically, because if you only count that 2 power that Agony's giving it.
The honor reveal happens first, then the absorption happens second. So it'd be a 5/12 when all is said and done.
Yeah.
I think there's some cheeky things we could do with this. Something that pops in my head is something like Elsa Bloodstone, where it's nice to see that get filled up into a lane and then create space in the lane. You're going to shoot out your Deadpool. I think there's something, of course, there. Move is interesting too, just because it's easy power. I do think there are some things for this card. You think of, if you don't get your Shuri line, okay, this is another extra +2 for the Nimrod decks. You just play this instead. You give +2 that way, because it's an easier variation than trying to play Hulkbuster on top of a Nimrod afterwards. You could play this down on turn 3 instead. This goes great in Surfer because it's wonderful to play this down and then play down your Sebastian Shaw on top of it, and it can't be Killmongered. And it triggered your Sebastian Shaw. You put this on top. The only ordering, I think, with that same Black Panther ordering, I don't think it's going to make like Gladiator stronger. And now it's a 310 as the ceiling when it does its effect. I don't think it works like that. But I expect this to be better than Scorn in general flexibility. So for that reason, I'm going to go double gold versus the gold I gave Scorn.
Okay.
Yeah. It's almost like you need to look at cards in where its niche is gonna be, and then where it can be like in anything. When you're looking at a scale, it's weird though, because I agree with you. If I'm looking at it and saying like, would I rather? Because I think the cards that just you lay them down, they do a thing, and that's kind of it, are the best cards in Marvel Snap.
Yeah,
because you got your Sage, you got Arnim Zola. You know what these cards are doing. It's not complicated. Whereas when you start to get complicated with cards, that's when they're not as good as others. I don't know what King is gonna do, but I'm gonna put him down and we'll see. And then he's too complicated. Now he's not good. So yeah.
All right, listen, we'll see what happens when it comes out, when you get a disc. Yeah. You get it early enough. But yeah, I do like the synergy, the kind of synergies they have with other things. So now we're on to, of course, what happened this past weekend and what's happening this weekend. And that was the Creators Gauntlet. Shout out to Second Dinner and Newverse putting that together with Gunny T doing all the controls and the back end for the tournament. And of course, It's Guess Gaming with all regional casting of the prelims. It was a very fun time, very fun event. I was very excited to be in it. I did go 3-3, ended up playing 2 of the Power On members. 3 of the Power On members, actually. And having a blast. I did have a good time. I did, in hindsight, I wish I would have known that we could have played in different regions, and I would have said, hey guys, let's all split up. I stream at night. I'll handle the night region. Whoever wants to be in the day to day. I didn't know that we could have played in different regions. I would have done that. But nonetheless, it was a great time. It was a fun time. And shout out to Tucker and Hannah and everybody else that made it to the top 32. It's going to be a great event this weekend. I am super stoked to see who's going to take it all the way and into the championship on Sunday. I hope that Second Dinner does more events like this. And I'm hands down. I'm rating this double diamond. This is so awesome. Very great time. How do you feel about it, LOOPY?
I love the inclusivity of it. I love being included, and no one feels in the creator group feels excluded, because everybody who was a creator had a chance to get in this if they wanted to, and also it does show that like I was in the Asia server, and man, I got my cheeks slapped. I'm not gonna lie, it was pretty bad, but I got 2 dubs. I wish I could tell you who I went against. I forgot because they had some weird names that I could not really pronounce, I think.
Okay,
but it was a lot of stuff going around, and I was like, man, I was happy I won what I did win. But man, it was fun. I will say this. I was really upset with Guest because he kept moving his camera around, and I was like, man, I'm on the left. And then he would move it again, and I'd be on the right. And I'm like, what are you doing? He just kept
every stream. I didn't cover you at all, man. Every stream, I switched to somebody, see where their camera is, because everybody had their camera in different places, and then just be like, okay, that's why I've got 9 different camera configurations that I can move my camera around based on a full game board. So wherever you chose it, I would go somewhere else.
Well, what's funny is that it wasn't hurting me. I wanted you to be on my stream, but you kept going around. I was on top of you. I was like, what is going on? I can't see him anymore. But but I think that how they I think you did a really good job, Guest. I've been seeing you doing a lot of good, cool stuff this past week. So I know you've had a really exciting week, but you did a really good job, man.
Thank you.
It was fun getting the commentary and listening in, and also, the other stuff you did too. You did a really good job, man. So I know you're probably tired, but yeah, it was fun. I think it was a great event, and I think it's still going on. So I think it'll just get even better, So
yes, agreed.
Yeah, for the first integration of this event like this, with the collaboration with the amount of work that Gunny T and Models on the back end did to run this server and get these invites and put them out the right way. Like, they did a tremendous amount of work and planning and research and trying to figure out, the best variations and best modes and, every possible rule we could potentially think of. They got maybe 95% of it down the very first time. So that way it's in a handbook, it's ready to go. All the answers are here, etc. They were really, really prepared for this. And that made it a lot easier for us as creators to go on in and ask just like one or two quick questions or, oh, the answer's right here. Cool. Thank you. Oh, this is okay, cool. That answers it for everybody. Got it. Cool. They were very good about doing that. So that for the creator side, it was easier to ingest participating because it was, oh, here's the how-to video. Okay, I can watch this for 4 minutes and know everything I need to know. Great. Like they really thought through a lot of what they needed to do to make it easy for the creators to participate whenever they chose to participate. And from the production side, I've worked with Gunny so many times now that in a variety of different events that we know how each other think and we know like for the most part, what each other are going to need from the production side, from the integration of the casting. How does it affect the competition back and forth? So it was just a really organic fit for the two of us to work. And they really entrusted us in the qualifiers to let us do a lot of our thing, obviously within the needs of what the event needed. And I'm very happy with how the whole product came on out. Everybody seemed to enjoy it. Lessons were definitely learned along the way too. Nothing bad, but just a couple feedback pieces for ourselves, and we get ready for whatever the future may bring. So very happy with how that event went out from a caster and producer point of view, but more so watching how all of the participating creators felt about the event afterwards.
Yeah, no, I agree. It was great. I had a great time, man. And I agree. Guess you put in a lot of work this past weekend and past week. So for you to be charged up and doing what you're doing in those casting was pretty awesome. And I can't wait to see the finals this weekend. So that's going to be the best part of it. At least you get to rest this time. So
I do.
Make sure you get some.
Yes.
You get some rest.
I'm gonna have to get some rest too, so I can wrestle the cameras around when I'm restreaming it. So, oh wait, are you back for the next one or what's?
The finals are being casted by Nina and Dara.
Okay, so that's when they're going to be on. Okay,
yeah, that's them. Yeah, okay. Yeah, they handle the next two streams.
Okay,
awesome. 2-year anniversary for the wonderful Marvel Snap game. We are here. It is almost the 18th, and we have a bunch of rewards and stuff that's coming out. I'm also going to mention it is the 2-year anniversary of the Marvel Snapcast. Myself, Loot Muncher, and Val started this podcast October, was it 18th, 7th? No, October 13th of 2022, which is bananas to think about. This is right before launch. This is during beta. This is seeing the first roadmap. That was our first podcast, going through the first roadmap of Marvel Snap and being super excited for everything to come. And yeah, doing this for 2 years now, still enjoying the game. It's been an honor. It's been awesome. And of course, down the line, having new guest co-hosts, Sino, of course, who's not here right now. Family matters. Don't forget that. Family comes first. And of course, it's Guest Gaming coming on board. And of course, having guests on like Loopy. Loopy is like your third time on the podcast. We've had live episodes, right? We had normal episodes. We had a blast for the past couple of times that we've been on. So I'm excited to say that. And yes, we'll do something cool. We'll probably do a live episode to celebrate our 2-year. So I hope you guys come and hang out with us. But other than that, yeah, I'm super pumped for Marvel Snap. That roadmap that guests, displayed for us seems very exciting and is going to hold the game down for another 2 years to come and more. So you guys let me know how you feel about it, how you guys feel about Marvel Snap and where it's going and the longevity of the game.
I think that if they continue doing more modes, even if they only last for a little bit, it helps with longevity, because sometimes in a game where it's unfortunately in a game where sometimes it's about maybe like 10-ish minutes sometimes once you get to like higher levels, but it takes so long. So everybody's like roping the entire time. Sometimes they're not even roping. Sometimes they're just talking to their chat. STG. No, I'm just kidding. But sometimes it just takes a little bit longer than I think it should. So sometimes it gets a little bit, lackluster. So they have to compete with new things coming out too. Because I mean, once you invent the wheel, other people start trying to, invent more wheels. And then the allure of those, those water beds out there, people start getting them. And then, are they good or are they bad? I don't know. Because we're trying new things and seeing where it goes. But also just it's an always ever evolving meta too with the game, because they're always doing something new. Every week something new is coming out of Marvel Snap. And I know that as a content creator, sometimes I can get a little upset with the devs or with the company itself or whatever. But I think that's going to come with anything. And also I do think they listen to our voices a lot, even though we still get upset with stuff. But that's the way it is when it's a business to consumer, thing. That's what we got going on right here. There's always going to be a little bit of heartache, but I think that they can pivot some things, and they always do with OTAs and bring new life into old cards. I think that they can always turn something around and make people happy to play the game, happier to play the game, or happy to play the game again. Depends on how you feel about the game. But I also feel like it's also been 2 years, and sometimes a lot of the same is still the same. So we do need to. I hope they do continue to keep pursuing into more OTAs, more OTAs. But they might need to start changing more cards on OTAs instead of the amount that they're doing, because the pool is expanding so much, and it really sucks because this is a game where if you change one thing, it's like a domino effect. You don't know what that one thing is going to change and make come back into play. Like Cosmo is everywhere now. Nothing happened to Cosmo. Something happened to other cards, and other cards came out, and now Cosmo is like, how often have you seen Cosmo in your last few games? I hear a dog barking outside and I get anxiety, there's lots of things. So it's a really tough question to ask with this, how I see it going forward. Cause I don't think Marvel Snap is a game that I'm going to stop playing anytime soon. It's kind of almost like League of Legends to me. I stopped playing League of Legends, but I didn't really stop playing it. I can go pick it back up whenever I want to. The only thing about League of Legends is that, I'm not going to have any of the champions, but at least I can get them. And this game is kind of tough with that because you can't just go get the cards. You have to have, there's a waiting period all the time. And I think that those are the kind of things that are going to have to change with the coming years, because the whole thing that they lived and died by when the game came out is that you can't just go get the cards, is now turning into more of in the beginning it was a blessing, and now it's more of a curse because it's like, oh no, I can't go get the cards. People keep coming to my chats, and I stopped playing 6 months ago, and I came back now. I can't get any of the cards. I'm like, man, I'm sorry for you. I don't tell you. There's no tutorial for how to go get this card. So yeah.
That's fair.
Ramblings of a madman. Go ahead, guest.
You good. Guest.
I mean, over the last 2 years, this game has been, on a personal level, it's been incredibly valuable to me. It's helped me develop my brand, me as a content creator. It has given so much to me specifically that, I'm going to be forever grateful for it. In regards to, my play experience as a creator versus a consumer, as a consumer, the game, I agree a lot with what, Loopy was saying, that after a while, you got to add a couple of switch ups. You got to figure out something that doesn't make the game exactly the same like it has been for the last 2 years. It needs more than just a couple OTAs. I'll 100% agree with that, especially from a economy standpoint, more than any other standpoint in the game. All the draft modes that you can conceive, all of the alliance missions that you can conceive, that's great. But it'll only matter to those who are already currently playing the game, and it will be ignored by the limited player base that you acquire during that time, because it organically happens, rather than the manufactured bring in new players and new energy and more people to the game and give them the method to catch up, not just the opportunity to spend to catch up. I think that's a huge part of it that they have to decipher. as a content creator, the game is constantly presenting a lot of opportunities for us as creators, not just myself, but all of us. And they're constantly looking to grow and expand. And I'll have to say, this is one of the larger content creator groups that I have been a part of. And to know that, when we were going through the planning, there's a couple hundred people in the creator program. That's insane to me. And I don't come from the world of, Fortnite and League of Legends, where there's literally hundreds, if not thousands of creators that can qualify for these programs. For this type of game, this is a large amount of people. And the game is consistently getting better at working with creators, communicating with creators. They expanded their community management department just to be able to handle it. Like, they're doing a good job, and we're always watching them put their best foot forward, even if it's not to us their best foot forward. And I'm happy to say that I still make content for this game 2 years later, because it's the game I've made the most content on in my entire, content creation career, which is a lot of C's. And I can't wait to see what happens in just this next year, because, looking at the roadmap and the things that they've talked about and the things that they're concepting, there's good, exciting things that will keep Snap fresh. But it's very clear that we as a consumer base need to remember the balance between this being a competitive game and this being a collectible card game.
It's funny you mentioned that, because when I was at SnapCon, I was talking to some of the developers there, and it's sometimes I think we get blinded by, because we mentioned early in the video, sometimes we think that like, oh, a majority of people are upset, but then you look back and say, how many people actually play this game for 40 plus hours a week, like a job, yeah, because I think a lot of us do, but not as many as people who play. It's weird, because looking at it, I feel like I'm a majority, but I'm not. Yeah. I'm definitely a minority of this game. I'm also a minority, but
I was waiting for the damn
joke. But we are though, Yeah. So it's a weird way to feel, because I feel like that, but I'm not, and I feel like my voice is not being heard when certain changes get made. But then I realize, this Magneto variant is going out to a lot of people who are going to be extremely happy about this, because this change didn't affect them as much. And it doesn't make me feel good, but it makes me feel better a little bit that it's just a way that we look at it, and a lot of these changes to these games are presented more for those people out there who are only playing maybe 5 games a day. And that seems like a walk. That seems like a walk to the car for like me, you, or STG. Like that ain't nothing.
How far do you park your car away from you, dude?
I'm technically sitting on top of my car right now.
Right. For real, 5 minute walk. Jeez. Yeah.
In comparison.
No, I get it. You're right. It definitely is definitely a lot less people play this game less than we do, 100% for sure. But I totally do agree that, like that Magneto variant, like you said, some people came in the stream yesterday, first time, but playing the game at like a 300 collection level. They have Magneto right now, right? Like they didn't have the Series 3 card.
Oh my God, I didn't think about that. It took me forever to get him.
So they're like having a blast destroying people because they have Magneto right now. So they're super happy. Don't get it twisted. They're excited. But like I said, there's those people who, that does play the game a lot more than them. They're the ones that need more. So I get it. But yeah, think about that, right?
Imagine when they get those series drops, and it was in December, and they say, "Oh my God, they're dropping cards. This happens often, right?"
You know how happy they're gonna be.
Oh man,
we're gonna be like, "Wait a minute, what?"
Oh man,
yeah. So, but no, yeah, this game is super fun. Definitely, yeah, I'm with you too, guys. Definitely, on a personal level, did a lot of things, a lot of new people, a lot of people in my lives, you guys, right, especially as well. And I never got into content creation before Marvel Snap, so this game definitely opened a lot of doors in that avenue. So definitely a great game and definitely a great community. And the dev team is flawless. Like I said, no other dev team will even talk to people. So shout out to them on that. But that wraps up this wonderful episode. Thank you, Loopy, for taking the time to come on the episode. As always, guests, we always have a good time. And hope everybody's feeling better. And we see you guys in the next episode, right?
Yeah.
Peace.
Later.